Hello and welcome to the 100 Day Art Challenge. This video is going to be number 68 of 100, so we are getting through it. We have 32 left after this one, or is it 31 after this one? I don't know. We have very few videos left after this one. This video is going to be sharing with you a session that I did attending a life drawing session, and that was courtesy of Straky Hutch. She is featured on another video that I did recently, so I will leave a link to that previous video that I did in the top right hand corner now. In this session she had another model with her who was fantastic, and I basically had about 10 minutes to try and figure out how to draw both of these models together, and it was really tricky, and I love it, even though it was kind of stressful, because I was thinking, how do I get the composition right? How do I get the proportions accurate? And how do I make any kind of an image on the surface work in that amount of time when I don't really have great experience at the moment? I used to do life drawing quite often, but I'm really out of practice. So it was difficult. It felt like going to the gym. I think I've mentioned that in a previous video as well. You know, I'd be sweating, I'd be panicking. It would just be really, I don't know, just out of my comfort zone. When life drawing used to be exactly my comfort zone, I would know it so well that I'd know how to make decisions, how to wait before making those decisions, which is something a friend told me once, which is a great idea. And here's the idea. If you have 10 minutes to do a life drawing, then spend 5 minutes looking, and then spend the remaining 5 minutes drawing a better drawing than you would have were you to have started drawing straight away, which is what I've done now. So I would have had a better drawing would I have looked for 5 minutes, but instead I started scribbling away and getting down the head and hair of both the models so that I had their placement on the page, and then started working on some of the more curvy gestural lines that I was trying to capture from the pose. And they were great poses. They were really nice and really challenging in a good way, but it was just really it really wasn't easy for me to figure out what was going right or wrong, and just get comfortable in the session. And the other people who were there were much better draftsmen than I am, so it was good for me to be amongst people who would make me push myself and try to I don't know, just improve much more rapidly than I would have were I to have been either on my own or with people who were more intermediate level, whereas these were fairly advanced drawers who were in this session. So it's very inspiring to be among people who are just so natural at mark making and know how to do something really effective really quickly. And I'm sure it's not easy for them either. I'm sure that it's a lot of effort, because I don't think it becomes easy. I think it's just the effort that you put in becomes second nature, that's the effort that's required in order to achieve anything in these sessions. Whereas for me it was so much effort, and then the return it's not something which can be exhibited or you know, really shown to many people. But I thought I'd share it with you because it's an interesting image, even though it's not necessarily a good looking image or a successful one. I still love the pose, and you can kind of see the pose that I've captured here. Now what I will say is excuse me, I do have a Patreon channel, and on that channel I will be uploading a video where I show this drawing with the pose. I can't do that on YouTube because they don't like things like that, but on Patreon you can see that. So if you're interested in that, it won't be this month's video. I think it'll be maybe the video for November. I will show this drawing in this pose with the reference so that you can try it at the same time that I'm doing it, as well as seeing the decisions that I'm making and why, because I have the permission from the models to use that video, which was very kind of them, and I purchased the video off them. I will also leave links in the description of this video for their social media in case you want to reach out and attend one of these sessions. I recommend it. I think that it's a great session. They're amazing models, and supporting them in their sessions is in their interest and in yours if you want to become a better artist. Even if life drawing isn't your type of thing, it's such an important study and thing to experience as an artist, because it's so challenging in how abstract things become, and understanding abstraction in figurative work is one of the keys to unlocking how to draw and paint and sculpt and all of these means of expression. Doing them better is through abstraction, in my view. And I've talked to a lot of artists in different interviews that I've conducted, and we have a common language with how we discuss and communicate ideas and concepts and processes, but we also have a lot of agreement on the importance of abstraction in figurative and representational work. It's such a key aspect to mark making and to the development of an artist's understanding of the world. If you can view a mountain in abstract terms, or still life, or portraiture in abstraction through that lens, then you will have far more successful work. And I know that's a bold statement, but that is because the more that we see a face that we're trying to draw, instead of seeing abstract shapes and shadows and textures, the more that we are going to skew the proportions and use our assumptions that our brain interferes with our observations and get those observations wrong on the surface. And that's just what happens. It's just natural for the human brain to interrupt, or to excuse me again, to intercept the process of looking and then drawing. The brain interrupts that and says, yeah, but you're doing a face, so do this instead of saying, no, just do this abstract thing that you're seeing, just trust the process. Don't do a face, don't do a nose, don't do whatever it is that you're trying to draw. Do this which you can see instead, and just trust that it's this weird little mark, and that's all it is. It's just a weird little squiggly mark, and then do that next to this mark, and then a collection of these little dashes and dots and little scribbly things together will just make this form appear out of nowhere. And it's really fascinating to me because it doesn't seem to be working. You just have to trust that that's what you're doing. You're seeing these things, whereas in reality, if you are trying to describe things in literal terms, I think that's where you get skewed proportions. You get these kinds of bubbly, swollen aspects to the human features, because that's what we're looking at, is either the eyes that become bigger, or the mouth becomes bigger, or certain parts of the human body become bigger, and it's really tricky. But overcoming that is one of the keys to making more successful art. I say this while showing you something that is not necessarily successful art. It's just the best that I could do in 10 minutes. And as I said, it's not easy for me. It may be much easier for you, and it may be not easy at all for you either. So this is why I say that I'm sharing with you my experience, and when I do this, it was very difficult, but I really appreciated it. It wasn't unpleasant in a way. It was an ordeal, which sounds unpleasant, because I was uncomfortable. I didn't feel relaxed or like I was mastering what I was doing. I felt as though I was flailing and panicking, but it made me think, you have to pull this together. You have to look closer. You have to make keener observations. You have to utilize the time that you have remaining to make something happen, because otherwise you're just going to have wasted the opportunity. And what is the point in being in this session if you're not going to push yourself to do better, to achieve something, to grow in some way? And that's why these types of sessions are so important. Plus, having the opportunity to draw people is really precious, because that's not something you always get. It's very difficult to get willing and professional models. Sometimes you get people who are in the public who you want to draw, but they will move, or someone will stand in front of where you're looking, and that's it, your view is obscured. Other times you'll have someone who's willing to sit, but they're just not good at either the pose won't be very good, or the lighting won't be very good, or they won't be able to sit still. A lot of the time with models, I've experienced models who hold a pose and then all of a sudden it'll start to drop, and all of the posture that they had is drooping, and your drawing is now structured differently to how the model looks. So all the shadows move and all the muscles are in different positions. So that can be really tricky. So getting professional models like I have here is really valuable. If you're interested, have a look in the description of this video and reach out to the models. You'll be able to press on the links. They're just hyperlinks to the social media, and inquire about the sessions that they're running or participating in. and see if you can join. But you have to be serious about drawing, that's what it's all about. But there we are, that's the drawing that I have done. This is as best as I can do. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you tomorrow.